In this video, we are going to take a look at how we can create a layout and print it in different scales. Okay.
Before getting into the video, I have a request to you. If you are new here or haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Now let's get started.
We have opened this drawing, and this is a drawing of some sort of a small building. First thing, we need to check the units of the drawing. So let me zoom in a bit. You see here this text over here, bedroom 1, 3.6 by 3.3. From this writing over here, it can be inferred that the unit of this drawing is meter. So let's check it. I type DI on my keyboard, that's for distance, and I click this first point and then this end point. You see over here distance 3.6. If you press F2 on your keyboard, you will get the AutoCAD text window, and here you can see the distance is 3.6. So it's evident that the unit of this drawing is meter.
But this is just how we infer the unit of our drawing. But there's an AutoCAD designated command through which you assign drawing units and standards. Type units or UN on your keyboard and you'll get this drawing units dialog box. Here you see our current unit system is decimal and the unit is meters.
Now let's click on this layout tab and we get this paper space with a viewport in it. This is the default viewport that we don't want anymore. So we click on it and we delete it. So this is the empty paper space that has not been scaled to any size by us. We have to make it represent a particular sheet type. So we click on this layout menu and we now have all these controls over here. Here we can say the page setup. If you click it, you get this page setup manager. There's another way by which you can bring the same box. You right click on the layout tab and you get this pop-up where you can find this page setup manager. You click it and you get the same box, the page setup manager. Here you have two options, layout 1 and layout 2. Since we are in the layout 1 tab and it's highlighted here, so we just click on modify and we get this page setup layout 1. Here we have the printer plotter name. My default is Microsoft Print to PDF. Click on this little arrow over here. We have this drop down menu where you find this DWG to PDF PC3 and I click on it and I select it. Okay, it's over here. Now, next is the paper size. We haven't yet assigned a paper size.
Something is here as default paper size, but we don't want it.
We're going to change it now. So we click on this little arrow over here and we scroll down to ISO A4. Okay. It has come. This should be carefully noted that it's in mm, 210 by 297 mm. Okay. And next we come to plot scale, and the current one is scale 1:1. This portion may be the one that should be most carefully dealt with.
The first thing you see over here is the scale and it's 1:1. Let it be there as it is. But it's not what we want here.
Just below it, here you see mm. And if you click on this little arrow, you have two options, inches and mm. And ours is mm. Let me describe about that a bit. And for that, let's come back to our unit setup. So I click this cancel. I return to model space. I type command UN for units and enter.
We get this window where we set drawing units and standards.
Here we have this decimal and our unit preference is meter.
Since our choice here was decimal, we chose meters as our drawing unit. Or you can choose similar units like millimeters or centimeters depending on the type of drawing you are going to make. And then when you choose paper size in the page setup dialog box, your choice should be any of the ISO kind paper types. And in the plot scale parameters of the page setup dialog box, the unit for the paper size should be mm. Let's once again go to drawing unit setup to explore some other options.
If you click over here, you can see architectural, decimal, engineering, etc. If your preference here is either architectural or engineering, your unit should be inches.
And then when you choose the paper size in the page setup dialog box, you have to choose either ARCH or ANSI paper types. And in the plot scale parameters of the page setup dialog box, the unit for paper size should be inches. As so far we have gone to the plotted type, page size and type. In the plot scale parameters, the unit of page size which is found to be millimeter. So now we have to deal with this one in this little rectangle right next to this unit over here.
This one unit. So what's this one unit? This one unit represents the unit of your drawing. As we know it's meters, this one unit means 1 meter.
So how much do we need to increase this value over here to make it equivalent to 1 meter? Evidently it is 1000. So we put 1000 in this box and then click OK. Our page setup is over and we get this layout with paper space with a dot rectangle in it. This dot rectangle represents the printable area. So if you draw or put something out of this dot rectangle, it will not be printed. Now let's create a viewport. This is the viewport tool, and if I click here, I have this rectangle, polygonal, and object, and these are the three viewport types available. And for now, I want this rectangle viewport type, so I click on it, and I get this option. You see the default is fit, and that's what I want now. So I hit enter, and you see we have this viewport that contains the whole things in the model space. So it's evident that this viewport doesn't stick onto any conventional scale that we are using. But if you want to know the actual scale of your viewport, you just select the viewport and you come over here. You can see the scale of your viewport over here. It's 0.003 and something, and I don't think it's a conventional scale. But if you want to set your viewport in a conventional scale, you just click over here and you will get these options in which you can see different scale sets. 1:1, 1:2, and over here you can see 1:100, which is a very common scale that we use. So I click on it and you see the viewport is scaled to 1:100. I press Ctrl Z to undo it. Now we are in the paper space. While you are in layout, you can switch between model space and the paper space. Let's say you are in the paper space of the layout and you want to go to the model space. Then you can simply double click anywhere in the viewport, or you type MS on your keyboard, then you will be carried to your model space. And when you want to come out of the model space, you double click on anywhere outside of your viewport, or you type ES on your keyboard and hit enter. Then you will get back to your paper space. Using command MS, I once again come to my model space with pan command, PAN, on my keyboard, or holding down the scroll wheel of my mouse, I can pan these items in the model space. If you want this block of drawing to be zoomed in and fit in your viewport, then you type zoom or Z on your keyboard, select this block of drawing, and you see this happens. But still some space left on all sides. And if you want to get rid of it, you can further zoom it using zoom real time. To get it to a better fit position like this, I once again invoke zoom command and I select this elevation only. You see it's zoomed in.
Now I return to the paper space, and this is a paper space. Okay.
Though looks good, this is just a best fit view of the drawing in the viewport that does not follow any conventional scale. So now I'm going to scale this viewport into a conventional scale. For now, let's take the 1:100 scale. So first I click on the viewport to select it. Then I come over here, this viewport scale, I click on it and I get this option box from where I select this 1:100.
Now it's in 1:100.
And you see here now the drawing has no title box, but there was one. And if you want to bring it back, then you can easily do it by inserting another viewport. For that, I'm going to stretch it. I hold this grip and resize it to a comfortable size. This operation will not disturb your set scale. With move command, you can move the viewport to anywhere you like without losing its contents or disturbing its scale. Then I move the entire viewport to a suitable position. I click on this rectangle viewport to create one, and it's here. Let's get into the model space. Then you invoke zoom command and you select the title box. You see it zooms in and comes to the best fit. Still you can make some fine adjustments using zoom real time, pan command, etc. as we did before. Now I double click outside to get in the paper space. Now I need a border to this drawing. For that I type REC for rectangle on my keyboard and I draw a border like this. You see it's within the dotted rectangle. If we plot this drawing at this stage, we will have two borders on the drawing. One is the actual drawing border and the other is the viewport. But since we don't want these two at the same time, let's hide the one that represents the viewport. So you click and select the viewport you want to hide. Then go to modify menu and click on properties. Then you will have your properties tab on the screen like this. You go to the layer control. Then you change the current layer into def points. Now if you take a print, you will see that the viewport border has gone and the print is perfectly okay and the scale is 1:100. So that's all this tutorial. If you carefully follow this tutorial, you can create layouts and print your drawings in any scales on any sheet of paper. What you need to do then is to just tailor what you have learned here according to your needs and specifications. That's all this video. If you like it, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button and share it to who you think would like. Thanks for watching and I hope you have a wonderful day.